Good morning, YouTube. Good morning. Here's how it's going to go down. At the beginning of this video, someone hands this baby a ball. I'm going to assume those are balls. Someone hands this baby a ball. And because someone hands him a ball, I'm going to assume that everything that happens after, that same person who gave him that ball could have just grabbed him. So I'm going to assume maybe this is part of a movie, maybe this is part of a skit. I'm going to assume this is fake. And because I'm going to assume this is fake, I'm just going to do a little comedy. So nothing I'm going to say from here on out you should take seriously, because this is comedy. All right? And I'm telling you why. At the beginning of this video, someone hands this baby a ball. So had this been real life, my first reaction would have been blouse and Scott sugar honey iced tea. Come get your monkey. That would have been my first reaction. Blouse and Scott sugar honey iced tea. Come get your monkey. That would have been my first reaction, but because this is comedy, that's why I can have that first reaction. And then I look at it, and no matter how I look at it, and because I think this is fake, maybe this is a little kid actor, but if this is not a kid actor, this is a sick baby. Let's watch together. This is a sick baby. Look at this baby. Look. This woman has enough sense to grab him. He spits on her. You saw that? Look at that again. She has enough sense to grab him. Look at this. Because he's interfering in her children's space. As a parent, I would do the same. Oh! Look at this baby. Whose baby is this? Is this a little... Ooh! Is this a little actor? Whose IEP baby is this? Okay, look. This is a child on medication. This is an IEP baby. Good morning, YouTube. And listen to the men. And the men, I understand the men who are speaking, because what can they do? If they interfere, they'll get in trouble. So this is like a setup for them. That's why I say this is theater. This is to set them up. If any one of them dare touch that little monkey, my IEP, no, this is not my baby. And I like to call every child my child, but this, I don't know. I don't know if I can put the my on that. This is your IEP baby. Listen to the men. They are powerless. And the only thing the men can do in this moment is just videotape this. Because what can they do? What can... Listen to the men. He's hopping from lane to lane. He's interfering with other families' time. He's causing a danger to himself. If he falls on any of these lanes, and these are hard metal things. Like, I don't know if you've ever been to these type of game spaces. These are hard surfaces. If he even falls for a minute, I'm going to pause the volume down on this. If he even falls for a second, he can split his skull. Look at this. See, somebody's almost brave. Somebody's almost brave. Come get your little IEP baby. And because look at the beginning. Somebody hands him a ball in the beginning. So who is this person who hands him a ball in the beginning? You see his hand out? He's about to take the ball. So let's go from the beginning. Who hands him that ball? Because that person could have just interfered and come and get him. So I'm assuming this is a skit because, you know, the blacks in the USA, they are always acting for our entertainment. So this could be a child actor. Look at this. This woman is almost, She has a speaking part. That woman has a speaking part in the play. Ooh, the baby the baby's the leading actor. I'm not sure this is reality. That's why I can make comedy about it. I can tell you to come get your IEP baby. And I'm going to tell you why I can tell you to come get your IEP baby. Because I'm a former licensed public school teacher. And this is one of the most reasons why I'm so happy that I'm no longer a licensed public school teacher. I am still a teacher. I'm just not in the public school arena any longer. Because in the classroom, when you're faced with the IEP babies, you become powerless. You become powerless, powerless. In the times that I used to teach, we didn't have video cameras on the phones where we could videotape that. Because I remember one time I was teaching the 7th grade, and was in Crown Heights. And I had this beautiful young girl that was one of my students. Beautiful young girl. Like any parent would be so proud to have this young girl as your daughter, because she also carried herself nicely. She wasn't like ratchet. She was a beautiful young girl. But the other kids around her, you can see how they resented her. You can see how they wanted to ruin her. And there was this one young lady, another young student, about the same age as her, 13, 12, 13. And she had a mother who was gay, and I'm not saying it's due to that fact. And it's due to the fact that that young lady was also a lesbian. So this young woman was a lesbian. Her mother was a lesbian, and here is this beautiful young woman who's okay. They're friends. It's not like she's been a bigot or she's been biased. This is also her friend. But as a teacher, and you're watching, you can see how she's doing everything to ruin this young lady. So one day, I'm in the classroom. Don't forget, I'm a 7th grade teacher in that moment. Look at this. Somebody almost gets brave with this little monkey. Come get your IEP baby. Come get him. The same person who gave him that first ball, that same person needs to come and get him. Look at this. I'm going to continue to speak on this, but let me finish telling you the story. You can watch what's happening with this young baby. This is a sick baby. Listen, he's on meds. What if he hurts that other baby? Because I've had IEP babies hurt my child. And at that moment, I wanted to twist his mother's neck. Like, you don't understand what happens as a parent when a child hurts your child as a result of that child's parent being neglectful. So let me finish telling you what happens. We're going to rewind this because I'm going to continue to speak to tell you those stories on why I have authority to tell these bitches to come get your IEP babies. Because these bitches are dropping the ball. These bitches are neglecting their children. And I'm going to continue to tell you why. And tell you stories to prove to you that I know this. So I'm in the classroom. And don't forget the scenario. I just put the scenario down for you. There's this beautiful young lady, about 13 years old. She carries herself pretty well. And you have this other young woman. She's lesbian, 12, 13 years old. Her mother's also lesbian. You know, she's more like a butch lesbian at 13. And so is her mama. Her mama's a bigger butch. And her mama's highly intimidated. Like, I'm talking about her mama can take me and snap me. You know what I mean? So most of us teachers were scared of her mama. Black, white, male, females, we were scared. But I had never met the mama. I just only heard of the mama. So here I am. I used to teach ELA English. That used to be what I would teach. And this was a 7th grade class. So this other young woman, this other young lady, the one who describes herself as a lesbian, one day I'm teaching my class and she gets out of her seat and she starts, well, it started with an argument, and where the girl is saying, you know, no, I'm not like that. Leave me alone. And she gets out of her seat. She's like, oh, you think you're better than me now? So just because she says she's not like that, leave her alone. The lesbian young woman, she gets out of her seat and she gets into the other one's face. So the other young lady, she gets up. And when she gets up, this other lesbian student, she wrestles her to the ground because she's obviously stronger than her. She's more of a butch. She wrestles her to the ground. And I'm as a teacher, I'm saying, stop. don't forget, I forgot to mention that I'm 6 months pregnant. I'm not going near this scene. I'm calling security. I'm saying, stop, stop. I'm asking I'm asking for help. Nobody's coming to my help, no security. The lesbian one, she puts her hand into the other one's pants. Oh, when I saw that, my heart. Oh, as a parent, she puts her hand into the other student's pants. Imagine you send your child to school only for her to be molested publicly in front of all her friends. She's putting it to molest right in front of me. And I'm screaming, stop. When she put her hand in that, something made me move forward, but I did not go no closer because she said to me, I'm going to kick that baby out of your stomach. I said, girl, you don't want that Bedford Flatbush Avenue spray. At that moment, I knew I didn't need to be no teacher no more, because if she touched me, if she was to even touch her hair on me, at that moment, I would turn everything normal, natural. So at that moment, I knew that scene where you have these types of IEP babies, because it is us teachers who have to deal with the IEP babies, not the moms. The moms are just happy when when school is in. Whenever there's summer coming in, the moms are pissed. The moms don't want to deal with their babies. They don't. Whenever there is school, whenever school comes back in, the mothers are happy. Whenever school is out, whenever school is back out, the mothers are like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this holiday. I don't know how I'm gonna deal with this child. And you watch these mothers, these ratchet mothers, watch their social media threads when there is a holiday. When there's a holiday, they go nuts. They don't know what to do with their own IEP babies. Look at look at this. Like I said, because I know this is theater, because someone hands him a ball. Someone hands him a ball. And look how the men are rendered powerless. This is a setup for the men. If any of these men were to interfere, they sound like real men. And I understand why they cannot interfere. If any of them dare touch this little monkey, this little IEP baby, they'll go down. This is a sick baby. This is a sick child. And I'm going to tell you the world on this. I'm going to tell you the real world on this. Because a lot of yous... That's why all the ratchet hoes say don't bring the kids into it, because they want you to tolerate them when they bring this type of scene in public. That's why the hoes say don't bring the kids into it. Don't bring the kids into it. That's what the hoes say. That's what the ratchet hoes say. That's what the nigga movement says. Look at this little sick. This is a sick child. So a lot of these parents, they do not know how to bring their sick children out in public. Because all they need to do is braid his hair, make him look cool, find him an Adidas suit, give him a Nike suit, put some good sneakers on him, and they think that's respect. And that's all a hoe needs to know. No hoe, no ratchet hoe. This is obviously a ratchet hoe, because who's going to let your child be absent from your eyes for so long and you don't know where your child is? Knowing you have a sick child. Knowing you have a sick baby. This is a sick child. This is a sick baby. He's sick. He's going to jump back on the concourse, jump back on, ball in hand. This is a sick child. Regular, normal children do not act like that. This child obviously has behavior abnormalities. This child obviously has physiological abnormalities. And I would even venture to allegedly say this child has central nervous system abnormalities. You can tell this child you can tell this, I mean, just by looking at him, you know this is from an experienced professional. This is an IEP baby. When you take your IEP baby to the public, there are rules to follow. Just because you put him in nice suits, you braid his hair and you put some shoes on him, look at him, he's all meds up. Pop the Molly, I'm sweating. If this was this is the future. Pop the Molly, I'm sweating. He's on meds. This is high. He's high right now. See, spitting on everybody. Look at this ratchet happening, interfering with family time, interfering with us taking our children out and trying to model to our children, the spirit of gaming. it's fun to be gaming as a family. That's a fun time to be had. Or you're gonna let some ratchet child, you know, ruin your time with your own family. No, I wouldn't let it happen. I wouldn't let no ratchet child ruin my time. So this is why I try very little to go out in the public, because a lot of times when you go out in the public, you are faced to watch this happen. See, somebody gives him a ball. Who gives him that ball? The person who gave him the ball, that's the person I got a problem with, because you gave him that ball. You need to come get him. So this is what's happening right now. A lot of these wretched hoes, they snatch. They all looking good and they all looking clean, and they got everything going on for them as far as what the appearance is. On the outside looking in, when you look at the surface of their space, everything looks clean. But these are the ratchet hoes who refuse to take care of their children. The minute you refuse to take care of your children, you're nothing but a low down, dirty, ratchet hoe. You got to take her. So a lot of these women, it's all about the pussy game for them. It's all about the men game for them. It's all about the money, the bag, but they don't want to acknowledge that they have sick children. They do not want to live. Like recently, last year, this woman came into my life. She asked me for help. I decided I wanted to help her. And the next thing you know, here we are with her children, and they're 3 sick children. And she never told me she had 3 sick children. She's hiding the fact that these 3 children are sick. She's not giving them the proper medical care because she doesn't want the outside world to see these 3 children are sick. Because a lot of times it will be for these ratchet hoes to admit that their genetics is defaulted. Your genetics is kind of fucked up, bitch. Something went wrong with the genetic production of this human, and this human was created from you and that other human. So there's a default between you and that other human, and you passed it down. So these are a lot of Down syndrome bitches. You know, they look big, fatty, because they have a lot of water retaining, a lot of air, big asses, big everything. A lot of because they have central nervous system problems. A lot of that comes with overweight, retaining water, retaining fat. A lot of these bitches, they be looking the best. Like I remember when I used to be an inclusion teacher. That back in the days we called it, because when I was a licensed teacher, what was happening with the New York City Department of Education is what they were transitioning special education classes, and they wanted to transition those special education students to general education. So before you can be transitioned to general education, you would have a class that's called an inclusion class, meaning just like what's happening right now, this IEP sick baby is included with the rest of the general population. And you wonder what happened to these IEP babies after high school. They blend in the general population. These are the men acting stupid, and you wonder why they ain't taking straight. This has been IEP babies from there, right there. And when they're acting stupid, and when they're doing stuff, and then they're doing the lean, they're popping the molly, I'm sweating, and they're doing all that shit, and you wonder when it started. These other IEP babies, their mamas never treated them. Their mamas never wanted to acknowledge that these have been sick children. So these ratchet hoes, because they want to look good to the public eye, because they want to snatch men, because they want to play the penis game, because they want to swap it. They want to swap penis, booty, hoes, everything. So these are the ratchet hoes who will not let you know, and who will not take care of their children, because to take care of their children mean to admit to the general public that there is a genetic deficiency with you. And I'm telling you, because I have experience teaching these young people, half of a school by now, I predicted back then that half of a school by now would have IEPs, would have behavioral issues, would have central nervous problems, would have physiological problems manifesting in the physical realm, manifesting in and interrupting the progress of a regular classroom. So as I had experience teaching students like him, like if this is happening for me, because when you have an IEP, an inclusion class, and you have all these IEP students, and you have all these special ed students, and I have also taught special ed classes. When you have these special ed students, you have what is called paraprofessionals. So at that moment, I would ask the paraprofessional to come get him, to physically pick him up and remove him. Because when we have these inclusion classrooms, we also have different sections. We also have different corners, different resource tables in that classroom. So I would ask the paraprofessional at that moment to pick him up. I would say, come get him, come pick up Joey. I would say, Miss Pierre, come pick up Joey. I want you to pick up Joey. I want you to take Joey to such and such table. I want you to give him some Legos. I want you to give him some Play-Doh. I want you to give him some puzzles. I would name something to give him at that time as a professional. That's how I would treat that in my classroom. I would not touch him because I don't want anyone to say that as a teacher I touched this child. I would not touch this child with a long 10-foot stick. Understood? So at that moment, I would ask the paraprofessional, come get Joey. I want you to take Joey to unit 3, to station 3, and I want you to give Joey something to regroup him, to calm him down. Because a lot of times when you're an IEP teacher, students come to your classroom doped up. And while they're sitting in your classroom, they're going to begin to react to these drugs. You got to be ready. Oh my God, I'm so happy I no longer have to deal with this as a classroom teacher. I'm so freaking happy. Can you see why? I'm so happy I no longer have to deal with this. As a high school teacher, I had to deal with this in the form of harassment. I had a child who had seizures. Seizures. This was a young woman, about 14, 15 years old. Back then I was teaching. Was that still in Crown High School? No, back then this was happening in East New York. This was high school, but don't forget the other example was middle school in Crown Heights, and now I'm teaching high school in East New York. And this young man, he begins to react to seizure medication, and he begins to stalk me. And you know what? What broke my heart is when I called the parent principal teacher meeting, because I had to follow the ladder of referral to deal with these IEP children, to deal with these special needs children. When I got to meet with the principal parent, you know what? The mom broke my heart. She says, Miss, I apologize. Oh my God, she broke my heart. Oh my God, she broke my heart. Because she said, my son has not been my son since he started taking these medications. I'm watching my son. And she begins to tell you what's happening to her child. And as she's, oh my God, this woman broke my heart. And I begin to look at her child, not as a stalker, like I was looking at. I begin to look at him as a sick child. Because by the time we get to the meeting, I'm looking at his IEPs. I'm looking at the time he started having seizures. I'm looking at the time he started getting on these medications. Oh my God. So these ratchet hoes, they don't want to be accountable for their sick children, and that's the bottom line. That's why the hoes have the saying, don't bring the kids into it, because hoes, when we bring the kids into it, this is what we got to see. And you need a pass, hoe. You need a pass on every level. Who has enough pass for you? Who has enough guts to tolerate you? This has to be a play. This is a cinema, because we know that the African Americans and the blacks in the USA, they're always ready to entertain us. So this has to be entertainment, and I'm saying that because somebody hands him a ball. That same person who hands him the ball could have just come and gotten the baby. This is a sick baby. And like I'm saying to you, look how he is interfering in other people's children's faces. And as a parent, I've had to deal with that. And I've had to deal with having IEP babies, special ed babies, children with behavioral disorders, having to deal with them on a personal level, because sometimes you live next door to some ratchet little IEP baby, to some ratchet little monkey. Sometimes they live next door. And as they are living next door, their parents are doing all the superficial stuff, meaning buying them sneakers, making sure their hair is braided to the latest styles, buying them clothes to make them show off, but the parents are not taking care of their medical issues because the parents want to show up. They don't want to deal with these children's medical issues. These are sick babies. Because if the parents deal with these children's medical issues, the parents will have to admit, yes, I smoked dope while I was pregnant with this baby. I did liquor, alcohol, weed, everything, cigarettes while I was pregnant with these babies. These parents will have to admit to abusing these babies in the bellies. And these parents will have to face that this is the consequence of what you did to your fetus. These parents, these women don't want to have to face what they did to these fetus in the womb. This is a baby, most likely his mother did liquor. And a lot of these babies, their mothers are on psych drugs. Their mothers are on seizure drugs. Their mothers are on bipolar drugs. And some of the examples of bipolar drugs, you have when I used to be a nurse, we used to call it vitamin A, Aldol, vitamin H. Some of these people, they on vitamin A, they on vitamin H. So not only so, when I left the public school system, I thought the medical system would be better, but what I found out was more medication. So I have had training in these areas where I can allegedly say this is what could happen, and I can totally joke about this, because to me, this is not reality. And if it were reality, it would be proof of those women. Those women don't want to face, those ratchet hoes, they don't want to face what they did to these fetus in their bellies. And a lot of these ratchet males, ratchet niggas, bitch ass niggas, they don't want to face that you beat that woman's belly, you punch her in the belly. You don't want to face that you watch her smoke that cigarette. You don't want to face that you bought her that weed. You don't want to face that you bought her that liquor. You don't want to face that you doped her up. And a lot of these doctors, they don't want to face that they gave these mothers the meds while they knew these mothers were pregnant. So these are also legal meds. These are also women who are on legal meds, and the most dangerous meds of all are the legal medications. So look at this ratchet behavior from a little child. This is a sick child. This is the only way you can look at it to forgive the behavior of such a little monkey. This is an IEP baby. I need you ratchet hoes to come get your IEP babies. I've had enough, and guess what? He's going to grow up and he's going to start acting like a foolish mortal. He's going to start acting like a beta male, and you're going to say, oh, men are bad. No, that's not a man. He was never a man. This has been a sick child. He's going to grow up to be a sick older child. And then you want to judge all males because these ratchet hoes children, these sons of some of the bitches, they are acting out when they become 25, 30, 31, 32, 50, and you keep thinking these are males. These are not males. These are the seeds, the products of ratchet hoes. These are some bitches. Okay? And for the babies who are sick by reasons like outside of their parents' control, this has nothing to do with you. I'm talking about these IEP babies. These IEP babies where the mothers are ignoring the fact that their children are sick because they don't want their image to be tainted. They don't want it to be known that they are Down syndrome females. These females have defective DNAs. And I'm telling you from my experience, and I can allege that a lot of these females, when you see them, they're big asses, big titties. A lot of it is due to central nervous system disorders where they have weight problems. They have water retaining issues. They have weight retaining issues, and the bodies just blow up. And the medications they take, the bodies just blow up. And the birth controls they take, the bodies just blow up. So it's body by Depo-Provera, babies, IEP babies. This is just productions. This is outside of the streams of what is considered regular human behavior. This is outside of the stream of what is considered regular childish behavior. So we cannot condone it. And I have to ask these ratchet hoes, come get your IEP babies. And I have explained to you how to control your IEP babies in public. Next time you have this IEP baby in public, your eyes should not be away from him for so long. That is just neglect. That is total neglect, because you can have a parent at that moment that would totally take your child's fingers and spank him, bam, bam, bam. And then you would have a problem. Then you would want to fight. And let me tell you something, and I'm going to close this saying this. I've had the pleasure of kicking a ratchet hoe's ass because I have had issues with these IEP babies trying to bully my child. And since I couldn't beat that IEP baby's ass, I beat his mama's ass. And when I beat his mama's ass, honey, I kicked that bitch in the mouth, because that bitch needs to remember me. And all of these IEP mamas, ratchet mamas, neglectful mamas, they need to be taught a lesson somehow that they cannot keep coming outside, disrupting other people's lives, attacking other people's children, and thinking it's okay. It's not okay. You cannot hide anymore, because we are going to talk about you. We are going to bring the children into it.